Next, what is the diversity needed for startups? That is the title or topic for the next panel discussion. I would like to introduce the panelists for this session. Firstly, Ms. Tsunagawa, CEO of Bespoke, and next to her, Mr. Asano, CEO of ACT. These two people are the panelists for this session. And the moderator is Mr. Tarutani, who had worked on Japan companies startups deployment for more than 15 years overseas, and also had been working in San Francisco. Mr. Tarutani is the director of JETRO's Innovation Promotion Division. Good morning. Thank you for coming. It is raining today. Firstly, panel discussion number 1, from the perspective of diversity. We would like to move on. Just to introduce myself, as Imura-san had mentioned, right now I am helping Japan startup companies to deploy their business overseas. And before that, when I was in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, I had helped the startups to do business overseas. And at that time, with Tsunagawa-san and Asano-san using Zoom, how to explore the US market, I had been working on product market fit with these people. Today, we have 2 great speakers with diversity. We have these 2 CEOs today. So firstly, we'd like to ask the panelist to introduce himself, herself. Firstly, Tsunagawa-san, please. Good morning. I would like to introduce myself. Right now, it is my 8th year since starting this company, Bespoke. Before that, I was hired in a company. I was not that capable. I never thought of starting business, becoming an entrepreneur. I wasn't that much serious in what I really wanted to do. I never thought about that. But when I was 28 years old, I went to travel overseas. I had experienced some inconvenience, and when I came back to Japan, the inconvenient experience I had, I was wondering whether there is any service to solve the trouble that I had. I searched for that, but I could not find it. So I thought that I would try to start that service and started a company. Actually, the characters are a bit messed up on this slide, but after working for 3 companies, I started this company, Bespoke. Right now, the company is working on chatbot. I did not start this company to work on chatbot. There was this issue that I want to solve, rather for fun, another version of TripAdvisor. That's what I started to do. And as I conducted user interviews on a real-time basis, there is something that we want you to solve. That was what was required. And so I started doing some concierge type of service, but then was told that I need to resolve immediately. And then I started this chat service. Chat service was not working well on a real-time basis. So I started this chatbot. Chatbot was not that much available. Firstly, I was looking for a robot. 2011, when I was asked to explain to the member of the Diet, this person asked, what is chat? Or not even what is chat box. That was the case back then, but I realize nowadays that I am doing many global projects as well. I am also working as an expert for a meeting advising to Prime Minister Kishida in order to provide accurate information on a real-time basis to the government institutions or airports, hotels. We are providing this chatbot service to those entities. As a team, we have hired AI capable people from all over the world, total of 50. We have office in Japan and the US, developing everything on an in-house basis. As for JETRO, we are very thankful to JETRO. When we decided to start deploy business in the US, we had to have relationship with accountants, lawyers, etc. I visited JETRO for help. It took about a month or so to establish a corporation in US, and after that, JETRO introduced many mentors. I didn't think that one of those mentors paid in capital for our company, and also this person joined as executive vice president of our company. So we are very thankful to JETRO today, not about our team, but the points how JETRO helped us, what was meaningful, and the way we can ask for help in JETRO. I just want to explain those points as well. Thank you. Nowadays, after COVID, you visit overseas, and at Narita Airport, you can use this BPOT, which is Bespoke's service. Maybe you can try using that service at Narita Airport. Next, Asano-san, please. Myself, I also didn't think of starting a company. I joined Kiens, and I spent 8 years there. At Kiens, I was introducing the services that someone else made, but I wanted to build up services myself. So I started to do a company of my own. This service is to provide a high-quality source code marketplace. If you try to have these marketplace, PeaceX is the only one company providing this service. Users 70,000, and the number of transactions in 170 countries. There are no borders for this service. That is one of the characteristics. And the team is comprised of members from all over the countries. We have 5 offices, members from 12 countries, and partners and mentors from 7 countries. And the executives, Japanese is only myself, others are people from other countries. Right now we are having World Cup. In the pre-qualification matches, we had people from Germany, Costa Rica, and Spain. So we were all excited about the matches. And when I established the office in US, I was thankful for JETRO's help, and UK as well. And the awards that we won 4 years from now, that was chosen by JETRO. We applied and won the best startup. And also we exhibited in the Japan Pavilion and became the finalist. At the time, we were also helped by JETRO. Thank you. Asano-san, your PowerPoint is on the screen. So firstly, I would like to ask Asano-san, JETRO introduces mentors to companies in a very detailed manner. Why we introduce mentors, San Francisco or Silicon Valley, it is important as to who is your introducer. Some startups have a hard time finding investors. If you try to make appointments in many cases, it is very difficult to reach an appointment. So having a good introducer is very important. With the introducer, Asano-san, you were able to get funds from angel investors and also was possible to have a capital alliance with a company in Korea, and also overseas companies are investing in your company. What are the advices that you have? What are the good points having individual investors or having capital alliance with overseas companies? What are the things that have changed?
The user creates more. So in the US, Silicon Valley, CEO is Japanese, and we get questions why investors is not involved. So being in Japan and the US, I think led to the trust. This multinational was the success factor. Yes, I think so. Well, Tsunagawa-san, I think this is a question for you. A person who was a mentor became the CEO, right? Yes. So how did you persuade the CEO, the person who used to live in the US now is living in Japan? In Japan? Yes, I came back to Japan. So you moved to Japan and decided to come back to Japan. How were you persuaded? In the previous presentation, serial entrepreneur's importance was presented, and he has founded a company 5 times. So I thought he must know very well. And if he have founded a company for 5 times, people may wonder maybe he doesn't. I also had a wonder thoughts that he may be not good at practical administrative works. But we are taking very small steps. So in the very beginning, he helped to introduce the customers as the mentor through JETRO. And at the time, I believe what was people who live in Washington, D.C., or people, he has introduced to me a very influential person who used to live in Washington, D.C., and that really led to a lot of referral to the customers. And as we were doing this, the mentor said to me, he would like to invest a little bit. I thought a little bit, a little will not help. But as the mentor was helping me in my company, he liked our company, and I really liked that. And he has referred a lot of customers to me. So I thought if I was going to really work and stay in the Silicon Valley, he would be the best person to partner with. So I decided to get invested from him. And then that's how we started. I continued communication twice a week. I called him even when I didn't have anything to talk about. I didn't think he would move to Japan, but I communicated every time I can. And when I went on a business trip to the US, I always called and had dinner or lunch. And then when I continued to do that, just coincidentally, his children went to the university and all independent. So it was a very good timing in the lifetime. And I asked, and they said, why don't you move to Japan? And he said, you asked me so many times. Okay, I will. Wow, that's such a vitality. You weren't looking for money, but then you still got investment. Well, this is common. I think I hear that a lot. If you want to ask for money, ask for advice. We hear this kind of impression a lot. If you want money, ask for advice. It could go in vice versa. If you want advice, ask for money. I really like this expression personally. Money and investment and know-how is a package. It comes together. So you get investment, and the investor is one member of the team. So you would respect the diversity, and you have a very interactive communication and create something together. So you talked about investor and the mentor, but the whole team is all multinational. Asano-san, you are the only one Japanese person, and Tsunagawa-san, what's your proportion? 50-50. Yeah, we had too many Japanese members, so I kind of shuffled around people. So in terms of hiring people, you both coincidentally are the AI service provider. So you need to hire AI engineers and other people. So in order to hire international people, what do you do? How do you hire people? Well, we are a little unique and we are not so new. I don't go find people. I would look at the worldwide the hiring site, and we have recruitment ad on there. And then people who are interested in joining us, I'll try to meet online. So we don't recruit, they come to us. So they are highly motivated. And all the international staff who has joined our company, none of them has quit. It's almost free, the site. And my rule is I only pay up to 20, 30,000 yen. So the hiring cost is just time that I spend on doing the interview with these people, candidates. Wow, because a lot of companies pay a lot for hiring. So we have something to learn from your style. How about you, Tsunaka-san? We are completely the reverse. We would hunt for people. For example, our company, the most active salesperson is just coincidentally 3, 4 years ago, uh, was one of the speakers, and he was on the podium, and we had a chance to speak, and I sent him a handwritten letter. I traveled to Fukuoka to meet them, and I met his family, played with his child, spoken with his wife, and hired him. So very different from him. And before the COVID pandemic, there were a lot of events like this in overseas. So I would also go to the waiting room and then persuaded them to come to Japan and join us. Or since our services are provided at the public spaces like airports and etc. Sometimes I have chance to connect with the users who liked our service. So there are opportunities like that too. You're always very aggressive, aren't you? There are many people here today, so you may find somebody that you may be interested in. Yes, I am not. I am always hiring people. So your company is very diverse, and sometimes you may have different opinions. For example, you have lived in the US and also other countries. Team bonding may be difficult. For example, management of KPI, compensations, parties. So bonding a team into one, is there something that you do? Asano-san, you too. You're everywhere in the world. I always have a 5 minute meeting every day. Even if it's a short meeting, I always make sure that we do this, seeing everybody's face online. And motivation perspective, international staff commit to their performance. So it's easier to manage international staff. So setting the clear, achievable goals, I think would be an important role for me. So every few months, I would have one-on-one meeting with my staff to check how the achievement is progressing. How about you? I agree with Asano-san. Managing the international staff, some is thought as being hard, but managing Japanese staff is harder. I agree. They're not very straightforward and clear about what they are worried about. They would keep it within themselves, feeling shy, showing that. Yeah, and Japanese people would say they have really worked hard and put in the effort. But international staff is very open and straightforward. If they cannot take on more a task, they would say so. And they're very clear about it. So I am not doing anything special. But if maybe one thing I'm doing is like I try to have as many meeting online and if possible face-to-face lunch and meeting. If we're going to meet online, I would transfer about $20 and then we try to have lunch together, although we are online. That's nice. That activity, I would like to participate that online luncheon meeting. Sounds fun. But as CEO, you communicate, but you need language skills, right? For the multinational team. Tsunagawa-san, you're the UCLA University graduate. I have never heard of you speaking English. Yeah, I'm not a good speaker. I speak a broken English. Of course, all the documents are written in English, but I'm the person who speaks the worst English in my team. Somebody, I will translate for myself. Yusuke is trying to say this. And somebody will translate that for me and summarizes what I want to say. And if I don't know something, they would summarize the comments into easier English. So everyone understands what CEO is thinking. Yes. That's really what they do.
誰かわかるだろうみたいな。で、なんか分かったみたいなやつがすごい言ってくれるっていう感じ。
And those people who understand what I'm trying to say will say something. And they try to, those people who have the experience understands what I am saying. So they get used to
it
what I'm
on time. I think it's almost time. And I think it's a good opportunity from people who are on the venue and who are online. I would like to ask if there are any questions.
Sorry, もちろんありがとうございます。ちょっと仕事柄のちょっとこう質問になってしまって申し訳ないんですけども。
Sorry, talking about the work, you have hired many people from various countries. And some people, how do you enter into the contracts for hiring with those people staying overseas? I was working as a CEO for my previous job, and more than half were coming from various countries like Romania, etc. So there were various backgrounds. How do you deal with those hiring contracts? We have this employment contract as a regular employee, and I send the money using life, etc. But right now the yen is weaker. We have concluded denominated in dollars or pounds. It is becoming very expensive, so I should have contracted in yen. In my company, we only have companies in Japan and the US. For the people in Japan, we hire them as regular employees. For those in overseas, for those in the US, we hire them as a regular employee for the US company, and for those in other countries, they are contracted workers for the Japanese companies. And as for the remittance of salaries, for those hired by the Japanese company, we send the money from the accounts in Japan, which is quite costly. And for the US, we pay from the US company. So nothing special that we're doing. We're just following the routine type of practice. And recently, EOR, employer of record, there are many venture companies like that. If you try to hire those people using EOR, it is a bit costly, but it is really convenient. So it might be good using that. Thank you for the advice. EOR is the company will work more like an agent. Many companies are now working with EOR. So if you are interested, I can introduce an EOR company. Any other questions? Lastly, we have many people participating online basis, more than 100 people. There are some people from startups as well. There are many startups who want to create a diverse team with people from diverse nations. Are there any advice to them? I have 2 points. The first is nationality or religion, gender, age. They are not that relevant. Actually, it is really the individual's characteristics. I think that is what really counts. It's not that this person from this certain nationality is difficult or do not work well, etc. That is really not the case. I mentioned that it is quite hard to manage the people from Japan because of the culture. But in terms of capability, competency, it's really dependent on the person himself, herself. So I don't think you have to stick to nationality. And the second point is, even if you don't hire based on their nationalities, I can say 100% that there will be good ideas coming from a diverse range of people. So if you can try, I think it's worth trying. Several years ago during Christmas, our chatbot icon, which is a robot, someone said, because it's Christmas, you should have the robot show like Santa Claus. But someone else said that Santa Claus is a religious type of character. So people said that you should not do that. But another person said, let's make it a snowman. And then another person said snowman is a male, maybe snow woman, or so we decided not to do anything. But even with the small ideas, I think it's really good that you think of working with a diverse range of people. Thank you. It's the same in my case as well. We should hire many people from many countries. Right now, we have people from 12 countries, which is quite good. When there are many people from US, there will be US culture, from Japan, Japan culture. But when it's diverse, people know that the culture is different from theirs. So people respect everyone's culture. We are not a company with a single culture. So I really think it's good that you have people from many countries. And also, even if you cannot speak English that well, it should be okay. It should be manageable. So the success for hiring, one factor is that even if it is a Japanese company, you should say that you don't have to be able to speak Japanese. If you can speak English, that's okay. I think you should start from there. Thank you. Thank you. Time's running out, so please give a big round of applause to the panelists once again. Thank you.